Right now, someone less talented than you, less disciplined than you, less intelligent than you, is winning. Not because they deserve it, not because they worked harder, but because they look certain. They speak like they belong. They move like they've already decided the outcome. They don't hesitate, so the world doesn't hesitate on them. And you think, you analyze, you replay conversations in your head. Hours later, you wait for the perfect moment, the perfect words, the perfect version of yourself. And while you wait, someone else takes your place. You've seen this before. In meetings, there's always that one person, not the smartest, not the most experienced. But they speak first. They don't second guess. They say things like decisions, not suggestions. And somehow, people follow them. Not because they're right, but because they sound like they are. Here's the truth most people will never say out loud. The world does not reward accuracy, it rewards certainty. Confidence is not a personality trait. It's a signal that says, I belong here. I decide here. I don't need permission. And people respond to that signal instantly. You were not born doubting yourself. You were trained into it, trained to wait your turn, trained to be polite, trained to soften your opinions so no one feels uncomfortable. You were rewarded for being agreeable, punished for being bold, and slowly, you became easy to manage. That voice in your head, what if I'm wrong? What if they judge me? What if this fails? That's not intelligence, that's conditioning. That's the version of you that learned, stay safe, by staying small. And here's where it gets uncomfortable. Most people around you are not loyal to you. They are loyal to the version of you that benefits them. The moment that changes, they change. People don't betray because they're evil. They betray when it becomes convenient. Watch closely. The same person who supports you when you're rising will distance themselves when you hesitate. The same person who praises you when you're confident will question you when you doubt yourself. Not because they're bad people, because they're human. They follow strength, they avoid uncertainty. So if you're waiting to feel confident before you act, you've already fallen behind. Confidence doesn't come first. Action does. You don't eliminate fear. You move before it locks you in place. You speak before doubt finishes its sentence. You decide before the room decides for you. Most people think power comes from being right. It doesn't. Power comes from being perceived as certain. Because people don't follow logic. They follow conviction. You've seen it. Someone says something completely average, but they say it with clarity, no hesitation, no apology, and suddenly, it sounds important. Then someone smarter speaks, but they hesitate, they soften, they over-explain, and the room loses interest. Same idea, different delivery, different outcome. You are being judged before you finish your first sentence. Your tone, your pace, your posture, everything is being measured. Not consciously, but instantly. So you make a decision. You stop trying to be liked, and you start becoming someone who doesn't need to be. You stop explaining yourself, you say what you mean, and let it sit. No maybe, no I think, no sorry if. Those are not communication tools, they are escape routes. Let's make this real.
Bad speech sounds like this. I mean, I could be wrong, but I just think maybe we should try something different. I don't know if that makes sense.
Good speech sounds like this. This approach isn't working. We're changing direction.
Same intention, completely different impact. And when you remove softness, something shifts. People listen differently. They interrupt less. They challenge less. They start adjusting to you. But this is where most people get it wrong. They fix their words, but their emotions are still controlled by everyone else. Someone criticizes you, and you react. Someone praises you, and you soften. Someone ignores you, and you spiral. That's not confidence, that's dependency. The moment someone can predict your emotional response, they can control your behavior. Think about that. If I know what triggers you, I can move you without touching you. That's how most people are controlled, not physically, psychologically. So the real upgrade is not confidence, it's control. Not pretending you don't feel, but deciding what deserves your reaction. Imagine this, you're in a meeting, someone cuts you off mid-sentence. Old you rush, you try to prove your point, you talk faster, louder, and you lose the room. New you stop, you look at them. You let the silence stretch, then calmly say, "Let me finish," and continue like nothing happened. Same situation, different response, different outcome. Or this, someone criticizes your idea. Old you defend, you explain, you try to win them over. New you listen, pause. I disagree, and move on. No debate, no emotional leak, no loss of position. That's control. Most people are predictable. Tell them they're not good enough. They'll try to prove you wrong. Tell them they're amazing. They'll try to keep you, pull away. They'll chase you. That's not intelligence, that's programming. And until you break that pattern, you will always be reacting, never deciding. So you remove the biggest weakness, the need to be understood. You don't need everyone to agree with you. You need to be aligned with yourself. And once that happens, you change. You walk slower. Not because you're unsure, but because you're not rushing to prove anything. You speak less, but when you do, people listen. You react less, because most things are no longer worth your energy, and people feel it. They can't explain it, but they feel it. That's presence. Now let's talk about rejection. Because this is where most people collapse. Rejection feels like a personal attack, like proof you're not enough. But that's not what it is. Rejection is information. It tells you one thing. They believe they can move forward without you. That's it. Not emotional, positional. So you don't chase, you don't argue, you don't try to change their mind. You withdraw silently, because absence reveals value faster than presence ever could. You felt this before. Something was always there, and you ignored it. Then it disappeared, and suddenly, it mattered. That's what you become, not louder, not desperate, scarce. And while they move on thinking nothing changed, you evolve. You upgrade your skills, your environment, your standards. So when your name comes up again, it hits differently. Not because you said anything, because you became something else. And here's the part most people won't admit. You don't need revenge. Time handles it. When you grow, and they don't, that gap becomes the message. Now listen carefully. If you try to be liked by everyone, you will be controlled by everyone. If you need validation, you will always negotiate your worth. If you react emotionally, you will never be taken seriously. And if you don't change this, you won't just stay where you are. You will be quietly replaced. Someone more certain, more decisive, less hesitant. That's the part nobody warns you about. You don't lose loudly, you fade quietly. So you make a decision, you stop asking, you stop waiting, you stop explaining, and you become someone who decides, not aggressively, not emotionally, but consistently. Because in the real world, power is not given, it's assumed. And once you assume it long enough, people stop questioning it, they accept it. That's when everything changes. You stop chasing approval, you become the standard, and the strongest position you can ever be in is needing nothing from anyone in the room. Because the moment you need nothing, you become impossible to control, and that is what makes you dangerous. Now here's the truth, most people watching this will ignore. They'll feel this, they'll agree with it, they'll even say, "This makes sense," and then they'll go back to being the same person tomorrow. Because awareness without action is entertainment. So don't do that. Take one thing, just one. Speak without softening your next sentence. Hold your ground once. Don't explain yourself once, and watch what happens. If you want more of this, not motivation, but transformation, not hype, but clarity, not comfort, but truth that actually changes how you operate, ZestifyUp is where that happens. Every video is designed to sharpen one thing, your thinking. Because when your thinking changes, your decisions change. And when your decisions change, your life follows. No surface level advice, no recycled quotes, no pretending life is fair. Just real patterns of power, behavior, and perception broken down so you can actually use them. Most people will watch this and move on. A few will apply it. And those few will quietly separate themselves from everyone else. If that's you, subscribe, because this isn't self-help. This is how you stop being overlooked. Final thing, in the next 24 hours, you will have a moment where you normally hesitate. That moment decides everything. You either act differently, or you stay exactly where you are. Choose carefully.